Hendrickx. So I've been teaching for 5 years now, so a young teacher in terms of education years at EPHEC, which is a Brussels-based university college. In my previous life, I've been working at Mars, from the chocolate you probably know, Mars and Neuhaus, also chocolate, so I like chocolate, and for about, let's say, 25 years in total. I still have also a small consultancy business in HR and business development. Just to set the scene, I think to understand what I will talk about later on, is it's good to know what EPHEC is all about, quite shortly, of course. So EPHEC is a Brussels-based university college with a long life learning philosophy. So meaning we have mostly bachelors, but also some masters, but also some adult education, so evening schools, also conferences, trainings, so really to have a kind of sustainable employability. Our pedagogical model, and it's important to understand this because that's why I would say we also bring education and business together. It's practical, so it's really, putting things into practice, I would say, versus more maybe an academic way of teaching at universities. It's also professionalism, meaning we have we have many actually contacts with companies, not only partners such as Odoo, but also real companies for business cases, for conferences, and so on. And the course I will talk about later on is actually putting theory into practice with some companies. Professionalism, of course, professional attitude, but again, is really working with the real professional world, to get out of the classrooms and out of teams and so on. Proximity is actually the third P, is more like we have smaller classes, let's say about 50 to 60 students maximum. So meaning we know them, they know us. And so I would say I consider myself sometimes more as a coach than as a real, teacher. So strong links with the professional world. So we work a lot with companies for internships in the third year, for real business cases, partnerships like, for example, with Odoo, and we invite many lecturers also into our classes. Now, setting the scene before going to the nitty-gritty of the course, I want to illustrate with you. We have 4 main faculties: EPHEC Business, Education, Health, and Tech. I'm working actually at EPHEC Business. Within business, you have different bachelors, and the bachelor I'm talking about today is Bachelor in Marketing, even if I teach also in other different bachelor. In the third year, students have to choose what we call a kind of elective course. So their main course, which is valued 20 ECTS to be precise, to be specific. So yeah, 20 out of 60, it's a big bunch. And there you have different elective courses. And as I have mainly a sales background, I'm leading actually the sales course. So our sales journey with our students is, we kicked off yesterday, so it's really brand new, a year that we start. We start actually by developing prospecting tools for them, or we teach them prospecting tools. Odoo with the CRM is of course one of those tools, but we also talk about calling, about mailing, about social selling, so actually prospecting through LinkedIn, for example. Also going to fairs like this one is also of course a good way of prospecting. We have then some courses on sales techniques, because sales is not only an art, sales is also really techniques. So having real conversations actually with your customers. And of course, if you want to be a good saleswoman or sales guy, you need to measure what you're doing. And so that's why we also have courses on how to follow up my business, so on KPIs, margin, profitability, which price I have to put, and so on. So these are actually more, let's say, well, courses that we give to enable them to apply all those tools into what we call the sales trophy project, which I will detail a bit later on. So our course is a bit, or the sales elective course is a bit different than a regular course. So, you know, a regular course you give like 2 hours every week during 12 or 13 weeks. We don't do that. So what we do is we have really power time. So 5 weeks power time that we started actually this week. So for example, today we met this morning the 16 companies which we will working with the students. So they all came and pitched their project this morning. So this evening, well, after this, I would say this occasion today, I will look, you know, and I will attribute all the students to the companies. As from next week, we have actually 5 weeks of intensive training, 2 days a week, not 2 hours or 4 hours, 2 days a week, full days, on prospection, on selling techniques, on KPIs. And then actually they go into the field. So the other 8 weeks, they work 2 days a week for this partnering company. And so putting the prospecting tools, putting the sales techniques, the KPIs into practice. So it's not a real internship in terms of 15 weeks, 4 days a week or whatever. It's more like a kind of, yeah, it's not an intern, a kind of traineeship, but putting actually all those tools they have into practice. So this is just to explain to you what is the sales trophy. So we are looking for actually small and medium companies. Okay, most of the time companies that do not have the time nor the means, mainly it's linked, for really prospecting, you know, startups who started last year, 2 years ago, or that want to develop. And so, of course, we offer them. So I prospected in June and July to have the companies coming this morning. And so what we offer them is really a win-win project, and for the companies and for the students. For the companies, they have like, I would say, fresh blood and inspired and engaged new blood to, I would say, develop their portfolio, to develop their business, and to go into direct contact with their customers. They have nothing to lose. Most of the time, they are customers that they do not prospect yet. And for the students, well, we can do a lot of play roles, you know, on selling stuff with the teachers and the students. Real life is different. So there they can really prospect and develop business for a real company, like professionalism, like I talked about before. So really a win-win situation. Now, where it all starts, and that's why I'm going to talk about the Odoo CRM just after that, is, well, when they start, they have a company. So, okay, with, you know, teams of 2 or 4 students, they will work for an SME, so local businesses, and they need to find, okay, raw data. Okay, which customer do I have to target? So they create a database. They have to qualify, of course, this database. So what is, by way of speaking, rubbish, and what is really a good prospect, let's say a lead. Then they have to contact those prospects through various channels, like I said before, calling, mailing, opening a real physical door. And then, of course, what is important is the follow-up of the prospection. Okay, I called this company. Okay, I feel there's something right going on here, so I will contact them again next week, or follow up with a mail, follow up with some kind of documentation or whatever. So the follow-up is really important. Previously, like let's say 3 years ago, students did that on Excel because it was the most obvious way. Okay, what are we going to do? We put all these data into Excel. With some bad consequences, like you had, like if you had 10 students into a team, you had like 10 different Excels going on, 10 different ways of qualifying the prospects, 10 different color codes, whatever. So it was a bit of a mess. So that's why 2 years ago, when I took the lead of this elective course, I said, no, I want them to be, I would say, in contact with a digital tool, and a CRM, and to really enable kind of having consistency and enable them to follow up their prospection, actually. Yeah, and that's some, I would say, funny statistics I used with the customers, or with the students, sorry. Because, yeah, calling once is quite easy, but to follow up a customer, it's of course much more complicated. And that's what I said, okay, I really need, like I said before, a CRM. As I had already contact with Charlene, I would say, for other courses, yes, I'm talking about you, I called her and I said, okay, how can we, collaborate, because I think I really need a CRM. And actually we chose why Odoo CRM and not, I would say, another tool, and why not easily, I would say, continue with Excel. Well, these are actually all the advantages when I'm thinking of now, 2 years later, of the fact of using the CRM of Odoo, is, well, teamwork. As I said before, you have like between 2 and 6 students per team, so allows them to work, on one tool, so they speak actually the same language. I like into the CRM of Odoo also the fact that you can put some criterias. So instead of working with color codes in Excel, and so meaning that it again they talk with the same language, and they can put some criterias which enable them to let's say qualify those prospects. It gives a structure, and I think for students this is really, really important: consistency and coherence. It's also a shared database. Now this is not new. You can also, I would say, share an Excel. But the thing is also here is that sometimes in an Excel was not always clear if sometimes students call the same prospect twice. So student A called it, and 2 days later student B. Yeah, why? Because it was actually not structured. The fact that it's here really a shared database means they see all the actions the other students took. Okay, my colleague has already contacted this prospect, I will do another one. Okay. Teacher access, meaning we, as a teacher, so we have 16 companies participating to the sales trophy. We have 16 student teams. We have 4 teachers, so each of us are also coaching the company and the students. And we also have access, so we can see without, I do not want to play the big brother is watching you, but still I think it's important to see what is going on, if they are enriching the database, if they are really, what kind of criteria they used, which student is more active than another one is also sometimes useful to know. It allows us as a teacher also to let's say to coach them. I do not want to control them in say, but really coach them. Odoo is really user-friendly. So as I said before, it's in the bachelor in marketing and not in our bachelor, for example, in e-business. Not all people are equally IT minded or system minded. So I really was looking for a system which was really user-friendly. Like you don't need to be an IT king or queen to use Odoo. It's quite straightforward. It's intuitive, actually. And of course, last but not least, the fact that it's free for our students and also for the teachers to follow is of course important. If I cannot ask my students to pay for a tool, of course. Now another, I would say, advantage for the students, but actually maybe also for Odoo, is as we work with small companies, sometimes they also work, I would say, with ancient tools, and so they are actually very curious to discover also the Odoo ERP, so which is also nice because we offer them actually a first glance or a way to try the Odoo CRM, which makes, I would say, our sales trophy more professional, actually, which is one of our 3 Ps, like you saw, I would say, before. And that's it. So if you have questions, so I would say compared to the previous presentation, it's my aim here is not to go. I'm not a technical teacher neither. I have a sales background, but I think it's really when I saw this, it's really connecting actually learning with the business world and using a first glance of Odoo. Do you have questions or feedback or about the course, or maybe you can use this also in your university colleges? You know my name, so if you want to be in contact with me and ask questions on another time, please do. Thank you very much.